morning, Bitcoin isn't confined to charts, price targets, or dusty conference halls. In fact, it belongs on the golf course, the pickleball court, and out in the real world where people actually have fun. They've built a network that fuses competition, camaraderie, and sound money into an experience that orange pill communities while creating unforgettable memories. Please give a big blockchain report welcome to the founders of the Bitcoin Sports Network, Chris and Frida Bobet, everybody. Welcome to the show, you two. It's a pleasure having you, and our audience is certainly thrilled that you're here as well. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Really enjoyed your intro right there. We might steal that from you.
You can take it and do whatever you want with it. No copyright here. So I want to get right into it. We got a lot to talk about. When they told me that you two were coming on the show, I was like, Bitcoin Sports Network, what in the wild world of sports is that? First, just tell me a little bit about it. What is it? What's the mission? What are you guys up to?
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, Bitcoin is all about proof of work. And what we've really noticed through our journey in the Bitcoin ecosystem is, like you were mentioning in the intro, that it's more than just financial rails for sending value back and forth between two peers. It's really about a lifestyle. It's about bringing the ethos and the ethics of what we're creating in the Bitcoin space into the real world and creating a community around that. So we figured there's no better thing to bring people together than a little friendly competition. And from that idea, Bitcoin Sports Network was born. Yeah, it's like anything else. Too much of one thing is probably not a good deal. And we spend so much time in the Bitcoin community just like hard orange pilling, just like trying to shove the pills down people's throats and get them to understand, like, don't you get it? Inflation is theft. You're going to lose all of your savings. Your purchasing power is going to zero against Bitcoin. And at the end of the day, people trust and build things with relationships versus products. And sometimes I think we do a bad job of treating Bitcoin like a product and not like a relationship. And so we just felt like giving people more opportunity to kind of build on things other than finance and savings and getting ready for retirement and how you're going to put your kids through school and how you're going to afford your mortgage, or if you're in the younger generation, even afford a house, and really kind of bring it back to, the raw, just relationship building that humans kind of lack in this digital age. And again, bring it back into the real world and give people real experiences versus conversations that they can talk about over the phone.
And at that, real experiences that are interactive enough where you don't feel like you're cornered. Like you see some people doing educational things and you have to sit in a room and you have to listen and you kind of feel like I see this day to day. Grown people don't understand Bitcoin. They are curious, but they're afraid to ask the questions. And so when you get them kind of like in that environment of just play, it is much easier to ask the dumb questions and to get a foot in the door.
Yeah, lure them in with friendly competition and then soft sell them on Bitcoin.
I like that. It's like you're kind of Trojan horsing people as orange pilling them, be like, hey, it's a sporting event, but like, oh, we should probably talk about Bitcoin. But that makes a lot of sense, Chris, to your point. It's all about relationships, because when you go to like a dusty conference, it feels like you're being sold to, you're being pitched to. But hey, if you're on the golf course, you're having fun and your buddy goes, hey, I just got this stock tip, so to speak. I'm going to be a lot more interested to hear about it in that particular arena than I would be at a place where I feel like I'm being sold to. And I think people are more receptive in these types of environments that you guys are creating, which I think is just such a great freaking idea. I'm shocked no one's ever done it before. And you guys don't just offer golf, right? You have pickleball, you have fitness games, and I think you were mentioning to me you have a big fitness event coming up, and I believe it was Isla Mujeres with the lovely Isabella Santos. Could you guys tell us about that?
Yes, absolutely. So this is, we saw Isa trying to orange pill, or is actively orange pill, this island of the coast of Cancun. And so we were just really wanting to support that. I personally just love it when I see a hardcore Bitcoiner with boots on the ground, real active everyday education. And it is especially difficult in Mexico, right? I mean, people don't have so much money that they can actually hold on to it. So what this is really, come down, be active with us. This is not, people have asked me, is this like a CrossFit competition? Do I have to, get fit for this? Yeah, I mean, if you can run a little bit, that would be good. but we modify a lot of the things. And it's really about the group experience, the community experience, the, really getting to know the Bitcoin community, and, bring your best friend that might be Bitcoin curious. This is the event to bring them to. You have white sandy beaches and scavenger hunts and little quizzes around Bitcoin. And ultimately we educate over a period of 2.5 days where this event is happening. And there'll be a lot of island things going on. Like we'll go on a little catamaran cruise for half a day and swim in the water and all that, like while learning about Bitcoin and ultimately giving back to vendors on the community. So we'll have 4 teams competing for sats that are then going back to a vendor in the community to give back to the island and to actually show, hey, like these are Bitcoiners coming together that can make a change in some business's life.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're
this
big
way
believers
more fun
in
than learning. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just say we're big believers in giving back to the Bitcoin community wherever we can, and so we always like to have some sort of charity or some sort of community give back at each one of our events where possible. And so we've given back to like the Bitcoin core development team. We've given back to Operation Bitcoin, which is a nonprofit for veterans that are in the Bitcoin community. And also in this case, we're giving back to the island of Isla Mujeres as we help them orange pill their futures. We can be excited to be able to get some really good boots on the ground experiences with fellow Bitcoiners and kind of build these lifelong memories together on how we did our part in the beginning of Bitcoin to help move the initiative into a brighter prosperity for everyone.
Yep.
I also saw that you two pitched Bitcoin Sports Network to corporations as team building opportunities. How do you go about convincing a CEO that Bitcoin plus pickleball or Bitcoin plus golf is a better investment than another boring hotel ballroom seminar with stale coffee? I think I just convinced myself. But what's that process like? Because I know not everybody's open to Bitcoin yet, but one at a time, those dominoes seem to be falling. What's your guys' process like that?
Yeah, we kind of looked at it like, Bitcoin is it's marketed as built for the sovereign individual, but in reality, we're all part of a network, we're all part of the same team, and we should learn our strengths and weaknesses of each other and use our leverage as a team together to make a more prosperous future for whatever our goals happen to be. And so from a team building side, it can allow, a lot of companies in the Bitcoin space are young, right? They're only 1 or 2 years old, maybe 5 years old is like an old company in Bitcoin. And the teams are typically small and they're spread out around the world and they don't really have a lot of physical interaction with one another outside of potentially a conference where they're sitting in meetings, kind of trying to sell, or, absorb. And so it doesn't really give them a chance to really learn about and connect with each other on a more personal level. So we try to create events that kind of break down the barrier of, okay, there's Bitcoin education involved here, but it's more about building and building that team that you're looking for and understanding each other better and where those friction points are and how people, handle stress and how people also handle challenges and then, solving problems. And so this builds tighter, stronger teams that we think will, again, help the businesses in Bitcoin overcome the challenges that we have to come.
And ultimately, we don't have to do a lot of convincing because there's a lot of word to mouth. So even at the first event, we were by the owners of the Bitcoin conference, they told us we were the #1 side event that they heard about, independently of us saying anything. And so I think people are just excited to have new room to ultimately be out in nature because we're not created to be inside of buildings all the time. And so it's just really been a steady flow and steady stream. And I think the bigger vision here is obviously to convince more fiat companies to come on our side, right? And so we believe we're very early in that and that there will be more to follow. And so we just want to be ready and prepared when those guys are ready to come and cross the line.
Yeah, and Bitcoin education can definitely be intimidating to people first getting in the space. So it makes me wonder, how do you go about soft selling or slowly ingratiating people into the Bitcoin ecosystem through a golf tournament, for instance? Do you put good facts to know about Bitcoin in a cart, and you have like one non-Bitcoiner and then a Bitcoiner, and it's like, did you know Bitcoin only has 21 million that'll be made? And then they inevitably ask the Bitcoiner, and then they'll start these kind of organic conversations. Do you have like a methodology behind you guys go about educating people in this new and fun way, or what's your approach to that?
It really goes back to what you hear, and I know Michael Saylor said it, and several other people have said it, and I don't remember who the original quote's from, but you can't tell people what to think, but you can tell them what to think about. And that's really all that we do. We just give them a place where they can foster conversation.
Well, we also have something that is particular, especially in the golf tournaments, and that is we have special holes. So you will come upon a hole that you're playing, and there's a special rule on how to play that. And it's ultimately a mini education of how Bitcoin works. And people will ask questions based on those rules if they don't understand Bitcoin, or a lot of whys, to their playing partners. So we do give inspiration as to start the conversation. And then, for the Bitcoin Fit Games coming up in Isla Mujeres, October 2nd through the 4th, we will have a lot of Bitcoin mini quizzes that can earn your team points. So obviously, if you know Bitcoin inside and out, you will do a little bit better there. You don't have to do as good maybe in the, rope pulls and other things. And so it kind of is, we just do conversation starters. We're not here to intimidate anybody, but we have found people coming out and really thanking us to create this environment that they could be free in, and that they could ask all the questions. And also a lot of families, specifically for the Max and Stacy Invitational in Isla Mujeres, that are just thankful that there is an event that is actually fun for the whole family. And so, you don't, we do the Bitcoin conferences, but there's only so long you can keep a little kid inside and, make them happy. So.
Right.